I think titles are won over a period of 8 to 9 months, and I never get myself in a twist about early season, because the evidence is there so many times that we never do particularly well early season. It's usually the second half that we gather some momentum. And early season we had decisions to make about some players who were carrying injuries, and we could have delayed the operations and things like that, but I felt that get it over with now, and then hopefully everyone's all right for the second half. And these are managerial decisions which can make or break a season. I think it was an important time to make decisions, and I think we made the right ones.
Did you worry at any time that things weren't going your way?
Well, you could worry every week. I mean, if you score 3 goals and you miss 2 sitters, you say, oh God. If you lose a game, you worry, you know, what went wrong, you analyse everything. And that's football, and it never changes that aspect. Even when you win the league, you worry. You know, what are you going to do next year, how are you going to improve? And that's the situation we're in at the moment.
The team, some of the players, even yourself, have been written off in certain quarters. Is there any of that criticism fair at all?
Well, it's not fair if you analyse the things the way I've been speaking. But, I mean, in saying that, we criticised all the time, so it doesn't really matter that. I think the important thing is not to pay attention to it. I remember we lost 5-0 to Newcastle some years ago, and they had talk-ins in Radio 5 a full morning, the demise of Manchester United, you know. So I don't think being associated with our club, you can escape that glare of publicity, in the sense of it's either front page or back page. And if we lose, it's front page. Because
you've seen the headlines this year, crisis, and you know.
But that's normal procedure. There's nothing you can do about that. That's British society, and the important thing is not to get yourself detracted or derailed by the comments they make, because it doesn't really have great substance to it, and it hasn't any great credibility either.
You spent £30 million at the start of the season on Rio Ferdinand. Was that a good investment?
Well, I don't think it's 30 million, but anyway, you know, pretend we get to the newspapers, why get in the road a good story? But no, I think what we try to do with the club is to build a certain department of the team out of youth, young players. And Rio Ferdinand is signed at 23 years of age. Hopefully he's got 10 years at Manchester United, and that's where we get our value. We'll get fantastic value. We've got a championship already. You've got young defenders like Wes Brown, John O'Shea, Mikel Sylvester, Gary Neville's at a nice age, Phil Neville's at a nice age. We've got 1 or 2 young defenders coming through, like Paul McShane and Phil Barsley, the youth team. We are stocking up very strongly in young defenders.
To be fair, it's been quite solid, hasn't it, the defence this season? I think you've got the best record in the Premiership.
Yeah, as opposed to the previous season, we were leaking goals and 10 a penny. But no, that was, we could identify that at the end of last season as an important step forward.
Diego Forlan, took him a long time to score his first goal. What did you do to keep his spirits up?
Well, he never let him down himself. That's important. Most people get it from within themselves anyway. And Diego was training terrific. His enthusiasm in training was great. I had no doubts about the contribution he was making. All he needed was a break, and when he got it, he ended up giving us 9 goals. It was fabulous.
And ironically, some of them were very important goals, equalisers and winning goals, weren't they?
Absolutely. Well, you could put some defining moments. The substitution of Varane against Chelsea with, I think it was 14 minutes to go, and he makes a winning goal in injury time. You know, that's a last-minute goal after being 1-0 down. Very much, you know, if you look at when you win the league, that could have been an important day.
Talking of days like that then, Manchester City at Main Road, was that one of them days? No,
yeah, it wasn't a good day for us. I mean, I said, see, there's none of them had been experienced a defeat with Manchester City, but they do now. So that'll not go unnoticed.
But I've read somewhere that, you know, you had a few words to say afterwards. It obviously had the desired effect.
Yeah, well, I think that you have every right to question your footballers, particularly a lot of young men are wealthy and they've achieved so much, they've won so many things. I think it's important to ask a question whether the hunger was still there, and I'll keep doing that.
After that game you had, I think, Newcastle, Liverpool and Arsenal. Again, the press were saying, well, you're not going to win any of them games, you're going to be 15 points behind. I mean, again, defining moments, that was a crucial period, wasn't it?
Well, that was a challenge, wasn't it? I mean, and the one thing I think my players do like is a challenge. And plus the fact that we were going through that period of with players injured. You know, at the time, Nicky Butt was out, Roy Keane was out, and we had partnerships of Scholes and Neville, Scholes and Fortune, and they all did fantastic. I mean, Quinton Fortune was a revelation. Phil Neville, fantastic. It was one of the best midfield performances of the year was against Arsenal here at Old Trafford. So there was great satisfaction from these lads who are squad members playing their part and winning a league. Where
does that come from with Phil? Does it come because he's been here such a long time and he is Manchester United through and through?
We absolutely. Phil Neville is a fantastic professional, first of all. He looks after himself. His behaviour patterns are wonderful. He comes from good family stock. He's a Manchester United man. So therefore, when you ask him to do something, his application is always 100% because he's got that desire to do it. So I think Phil's had one of his best seasons at the club.
The Worthington Cup this season, you played stronger teams than normally. Was there any reasoning behind that?
I think the only reason was we started off with the Leicester game, but we played a very much the squad team. Players like David May, Nardiello played. You know, all the ones who needed a game played that night. So therefore, you know, I still was on the same philosophy as previous years. When we got to the next stage, I think we drew Chelsea, did we? No, we went to Burnley, sorry. And then once again we played Michael Stewart, John O'Shea centre midfield, David May played, Chadwick, you know, Danny Pugh, all the players, the squad players who needed a game played. What changed was when we got Chelsea at home and I knew they were playing their first team because they viewed the League Cup as important to them. And therefore I felt, well, if they're playing the first team, we'll play a strong side ourselves. And we played quite a strong team. And once you get by that stage and you're in the semi-final, then you may as well go for it then.
What sense of disappointment do you get from the final then, losing to Liverpool of all teams?
The disappointment was we played badly in the first half. There's no doubt about that. We played into their hands, really. And it was surprising because all week we discussed about how Liverpool play and how we should play. And there was two opposites, really. And so therefore, it was a disappointing final for us.
You mentioned John O'Shea, centre midfield before. I mean, he's been amazing. What an amazing season he's had. Has he surprised you?
Oh, yes. It surprised you to the extent of how far he's gone. Because we always, last season we knew a player with great potential. What he needed was the physical strength to go along with his ability. He came here as a big rake of a boy, you know, no meat on him, and that takes time. And of course, he had a good body shape about him. We always felt confident he was going to get a good physique, but as I said, it takes time. Now this year he's just blossomed. It's been fantastic to see. It's a great example and a great incentive for all young players at the club. You know, Wes Brown did it 2 or 3 years back, and now John O'Shea has done it, and young Kieran Richardson also has broken into the squad. Danny Pugh had a game, and what it tells you, if you're good enough, you'll play in the Manchester United first team, simply that.
His confidence, though, on the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that has surprised a few people. He was telling me last week that he used to be a winger in his youth.
Really? Dear me. Oh, well. We all get surprises all the time. But he's absolutely beautiful balance, you see. He's a wonderful balance and 2 good feet. So, well, I've been very pleased with him.
OK, back to the league then, and you got back on level terms, and then Christmas, lost to Blackburn, lost to Middlesbrough. Does that set you back a bit? It
was a blow because having beaten Arsenal, Newcastle and Liverpool in the beginning of December and getting those 2 body blows at Christmas time was a killer. But in fairness to the team from then on, they've been fantastic. You know, we've dropped 6 points in the run-in, which is phenomenal.
Again, turning points. Ollie's equaliser against Bolton in injury time.
Yeah. You know, it was a disappointing performance by us because I think, in fairness to the players, the Juventus game on the previous Wednesday and then having a 12 o'clock kick-off at Bolton on the Saturday, it's too much. It's ridiculous, actually. And the players felt it. They couldn't get going, but they found a will to have a real go in the last 15 minutes when they were sensed that time was running out. They got a bit of the hold of the bit and went for it, and the equalising goal. We could have won it, actually. The next attack with a ball scrambled away, and which is if we could maybe just win it. Another few minutes they would have, but it would have been injustice to Bolton because they were a better team.
Where did these late goals come from? Because I think Sunderland as well, Chelsea this season, late goals have secured 2 points, or 1 point or 3 points. They've all added up, haven't they?
It's become a particular characteristic of a team. It's not just been this season, it's been there for many years. And it's a wonderful quality to have, never give in. And always try to take something from a match. And that's what they do.
I'll ask you about Ryan Giggs, who towards the end of the season has been sensational.
No, he's been fantastic.
But obviously had a dip in form around Christmas and just afterwards. How did you help him along? Did you help him along?
Well, I think in the case of Ryan, it is maybe he had some, his girlfriend was expecting, and I think a lot of maybe things were happening and maybe interrupted his concentration. But there's no doubt when he's on song, he's certainly wonderful class. And class wins important games. And I think we've seen that in the last few weeks.
His performance off the bench against Juventus in Turin.
Well, I didn't want to play him, but Diego got injured, and I was forced to play him, and he was sensational when he come on. But no, he's capable of that, you see. That's what capability is. You get to a level, but we know that they can get to, and it's trying to get them there all the time. And we saw that with Ryan that night.
OK, so we get to the last few games of the season. The run-in looks more difficult for you than it does for Arsenal. Again, you've got Liverpool, Newcastle. Yeah,
I read someone from Arsenal saying that we had easier running when we started winning those games. They were easier games all of a sudden. But if you've got a run of, well, that was, once again, the 3 in a row was Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal. And then you've scored 12 goals in the 3 games. I don't think there's any dispute about the quality of your team.
I suppose the one disappointment, and you cruised through into the quarter-finals, was obviously the games against Real Madrid, well, certainly the first game. How did you see the first game in Madrid?
I think the inexperience of the defenders cost us. We lost terrible goals. But at the end of the day, I think that we've come out with fantastic credit, and I think everyone has enjoyed that experience of playing against Real Madrid. We loved it. I really enjoyed the games. And sometimes when you lose, you can take so much from it. I thought the quality of our play was terrific. I think we showed we was good a quality as anyone in the world. We maybe don't have that individual brilliance that 1 or 2 Real Madrid players have, but in the team sense, I thought we played far more exciting and attacking football at periods in the match than anyone could have hoped for.
The 4-3 game at Old Trafford, really, it could have been anything.
Oh, we could have scored 9 that day. We could have scored a lot of goals. And if we'd have got in front the times when we had the chances just after half-time, and all we got this chance, and Nagoya did a great save, and then Seba hit one at 2-2, and it's the goalkeeper's just he's carried a bit of luck. He hit him in the chest and rebounded quick. If we'd have gone in front of those moments, I think we'd have gone through.
I think it says a lot about you, and it says a lot about your teams, the response at Newcastle after being beaten in Madrid. Yeah.
I think that I made the point to the players, look, there was nothing to be ashamed of in the Real Madrid match. I thought it did fantastically well. Now, all you can say in these situations is well done, because they all performed well.
But you couldn't afford to lose at Highbury, could you?
No. And there again, you talk about how luck can change in a game. There's a game we're coasting. We have to take John O'Shea off at half-time. It was a body bloaters in the sense because the shape of the defence was terrific. Wes Brown's been magnificent at right back. And when you make that change like that in an important game, and Gary Neville's just on the pitch and they score their first goal, and it's deflected off a Henry by the goalkeeper, that luck plays a part. And of course the second goal was a mile offside. But in fairness, the character of the team was good, and we came right back and got the EYs, and I think, you know, in the main, we were a better team in the night.
You showed your delight after the game. You went up to the fans and had clenched fists.
Yeah,
that
because
was genuine.
it was simple because I knew that these lads in that terrace were going to be our biggest ally in the run. And you know, you can get help from various sources of life. You get luck in games and certain things like that. But that physical thing the support give, particularly away from home, and you saw them at Tottenham, it was unbelievable. They never stopped the whole day. And at Old Trafford this season, the volume, the levels have gone up without question. I think they've accepted the challenge well, the fans. And they've been great, and that's why I did it.
The one person, obviously, who's taken all the plaudits this season has been Ruud van Nistelrooy. How would you sum up his contribution?
Van Nistelrooy's 43 goals, what do you say? I think outside the goals, I think what you have to look at, and this is what I've been really so impressed, his improvement in his team play, his linking play, his beating men, his whole general game has gone up so many levels you can't believe. Every week, from around about October, he seemed to get better and better and better. And he's one phenomenal centre forward. It doesn't need me to place him in any pantheons of Manchester United's history, because I think he's doing it himself. But I have to say, it's so exciting looking at him that I just don't know where he'll end up.
But he's not a tapping merchant. I mean, look at the goal he scored against Fulham.
That's through the improvement in his game that's happened. That wouldn't have happened a year ago. Because at this stage a year ago, he was starting to show the signs of tiredness his first season in English football. Been out of the game for a year. And we knew that next year he would get better and stronger, and that's what we've seen today.
But second season's usually more difficult than first seasons, but he's...
No, I didn't think with Ruud. I honestly thought he'd get better as a footballer. But to better his goals tally of last year, of 38 last year and 43 so far, it's unbelievable.
You must have thought that was going to go to the last game of the season at Everton.
It could have, yeah. We were ready for it because the team was playing well. And I know people say, oh, it's a real banana skin, Everton. But at the end of the day, if you'd have said at the start of the season, you've got the chance of winning the league if you win at Everton, God, you'd have snapped the hand off. And if you're going there with a team that's playing well, playing with great confidence and belief and team spirit, we'd have a great chance.
But you're surprised, obviously, that Arsenal haven't taken it that far.
No, I didn't expect it to go to the Arsenal game. I didn't think they'd win a game against Leeds or against Southampton.